Welcome back to Satisfactory version 1. In the last episode, we built with modular blueprint that I created myself, this line here, which is the best turbo fuel recipe. We start with an alternate recipe for heavy oil, then we have an alternate recipe for diluted packaged fuel, and then we have a turbo fuel recipe with the compacted coal. And then we get into those generators, 20 generators to be precise. So when they're all on, like now, we're talking about 5,000 megawatts. Now 5,000 megawatts, that may not seem big, but remember up to this point, we had 1,200 megawatts. So we've done basically times 4, almost times 5, with just one line of these. And one line like this only takes 67.5 of crude oil, so it's nothing at all. It does take a bit more of coal and sulfur, we're talking about 120 of each, but still, that is really nothing. So now, yeah, they're all on. We can actually look at one to see it. You can see it is a completely flat line of 6,200, because again, 5,000 from these guys, plus 1,200 from my coal factory. This is completely flat. This is a lot more than my current consumption, even more than my max consumption. And yeah, they're working perfectly. You can see they're full of turbo fuel. Now, one thing I will say though is that this line here is making exactly what is needed for 20. So what I do suggest is that you start this whole line here, you delete this one pipe there so that your buffer gets full. Your buffer gets full, and then you can start it. And because your buffer is full, even if you're only producing exactly what's needed for 20, because you have exactly this whole buffer working or full, you will be able, to get all of these, to 100% full, because this is a manifold, right? Another way to do this is you can wait for the first one to be full, then you pause it. You wait for the second to be full, then you pause it, and up until the end, and then when they're all full, then you restart them all. But yeah, this is something that may happen, when you deal with manifold and especially with fluid like this. So, I have also fixed the blueprint. As I mentioned you in the end of the last episode, there was a small problem with one of the elevator in the foundation one. So I fixed that. There was also a small visual issue between going from the first generators to the next 4 after. So this one is for the first and this one is for the next 4 after. And I have actually also rebuilt a second one here. This has been built with those updated, blueprints. So you can see it's fully perfect here. There used to be lines. Now it works well. I haven't connected all of the electricity yet, so that's why you can see it's all red. I haven't connected the resources, but that's gonna be what I want to do now in a second, so that instead of 5,000, now we get 10,000. So 10,000 will definitely be enough for us to be able, to do the next couple of things. But we could go even further, right? Because remember that one line is only 67.5 of crude oil. Oh, there is one small thing missing here. Sorry, my bad. I thought everything was fixed, but there is a small visual issue here. So yes, 67.5, right? So those two is basically 130, 140. That's still not that much, right? We are already making actually a lot more. Looking at the crude oil, this was the only thing that wasn't connected yet in the last episode. This is now connected through this one pipe. We have one pipe. In the future we can put more on top of each other, right? And this one pipe is actually bringing 300 right now. So 300, right? We could do a lot more. We could do definitely 2 more, and then 300 is just using 2 of the deposit, like this one and that one. When there is, I think there is way more. I mean, just this deposit here alone is a normal one versus these 2 were impure, if I remember correctly. So this one is as much as those 2 already. So we could definitely have a lot more. I don't think I'm going to build them right away, but as soon as we need more energy, basically, I can add more over here. To show you very quickly this crude oil, right, and also talk quickly about head lift. So head lift is very important for fluid, like we mentioned in the coal power plant. You need head lift to push your fluid from down to up, right? So this is why we have 2 pumps there. These are pumps level 1, so they only move 20 of height, and you know, this is on already 4, right? So 5 like this, right? 5 foundations like this. This is 1 pump. And yeah, well, then we go down over here and you'll see we have that 1 pipe. And this is why I put 1 pipe, by the way, because you need to put so many pumps to get it all the way there, that I didn't want to have that put 2 pipes, you know, on each of them. There is a cheat where actually if you connect pipes together and you put one, how is it called, one valve, the head lift is shared between the pipes, but I don't want to cheat, so I did it like this, where we have, you know, this first one over here. Again, this was 60, but with 3 power shards, you can overclock to 150, and the same just over here. So this comes into the pipe, right, and it goes all the way here and back. Now, as I just said, I want to do the generator line 2 also quickly offline. I want to restart all of the factories that were across my world, because we paused many of them with my electricity problems. And then we're going to talk about recycling. What do I mean by recycling? Well, you'll see in a minute when I come back. And here it is, ladies and gents. I have connected fully the second line, and they're all working. We are making some more turbo fuel, and it is. Now we have jumped to 11,200, so 10,000 from my turbo fuel and 1,200 from the coal. So we 10x, right? We increased by 10 time. That is really good. I have also reconnected all of my factories, so we've increased slightly, you know, the max consumption. We're all close to 5,000 now, and the consumption, the actual consumption right now, over usually around 3,500. This is because some of the factories don't have actually have an awesome sink, especially some of my early factories, but most of the late ones, they have an awesome sink. So we know that all of, you know, they work all the time forever, and they create a lot of good points for me. I think I have 50 tickets or something waiting for me. So we've done all of this, but now most importantly, after we have all of this energy, I want to talk about recycling. Now, recycling, what do I mean by this? This is actually sort of two new alternate recipes that are going to help us to turn whatever we're making over here as a byproduct. What are we making? We are making resin. I remember we're making resin over here. It's coming here. This is this one here. Polymer resin. It's going here and then going down. And right now, most of it is actually going into 58, see? Making 50,000 points per minute. So yeah, most of it is going into the awesome sink, but we could start using it. We are making, how much was it? 45. Yeah, we're making 45 per minute. So time 2, we're making 90. We're not using it right now at all. We can use it to do a basic recipe, but then I'm also going to show you an alternate recipe to push it further. So let's start first of all with the basic recipe. Into my refinery over here, if I go here, you can see the residual plastic and residual rubber. This is using this polymer resin and a bit of water to make the plastic or to make the rubber. This is the same. Polymer is just different numbers, but it is the same. We're making plastic and rubber out of this polymer resin and free water, right? But this is not what I call recycling. This is just the basic recipe everybody should do. What I call recycling is alternate recipe that you can find with, of course, your hard drive. And I got very lucky because, you know, all of these recipes over here, these were recipes I, you know, found while we were looking for the turbo fuel alternate recipe. The two new recipes over here, I just, you know, scan now, and I found directly without having to even rescan the two I wanted. It is over here, recycle plastic and recycle rubber. What does that mean? Well, you take a bit of rubber and you're gonna make plastic, or in this case, you take a bit of plastic and you're gonna make rubber. And when I say you're gonna make, is you're gonna make double. Right, so you're doubling, and so you could almost also do it in multiple steps, right? Where I'm gonna take a bit of plastic, I'm gonna create rubber, then I'm gonna take a bit of this rubber, and I'm gonna create more plastic, and again and again. The only limit to this, what I just described, is that you need to use some fuel. We need to use some fuel to do this. The good thing is, once more, we have a way to make quite a lot of fuel, right? Remember, we have actually two ways to make a lot of fuel. We have what we're using over here, where we're taking a crude oil, transforming it to heavy oil, and then transforming the heavy oil into fuel, or we have multiple recipes to make the fuel directly. As I just said, the limit into this is a bit the fuel, so you may want indeed to use, as the best recipe for fuel, of course. This is also, by the way, not so bad. I love it in the future, because this is to make canisters with iron and copper instead of with plastic. And plastic is a lot harder to make, in my opinion, than some iron and copper. But anyway, let's select this one, and also, also the other one, where is it? Yeah, and also that one selected. Right, and so now again I'll show you very quickly into the actual refinery. Over here we have new recipes of recycled plastic and recycled rubber. So let me start building this and I'll show you how it works. Welcome back to our turbo fuel factory, but now we're taking care of the resin. You can see all of the polymer resin that is being created by the two lines of turbo fuel over here is going to be transformed into this small factory here. This is not made with blueprints, but this is still basically, it's bigger than what I need right now, and it shouldn't be too hard in the future to improve it. So yeah, the resin goes over here and it's actually merged with a bit more resin into this line. I'll show you in a second why a bit more resin. And then it goes over here and we have again a smart splitter so that if it ever gets full, it can go into this awesome sink. And then it's gonna go down into these seven, here we have 7 refineries. So let's restart first over here. What is happening? Well, what's happening is we're bringing more crude oil. We had this one line here of 300 crude oil, thanks to the first two, let me show you, thanks to these first two oil deposits here, right? Both impure, but we have completely overclocked them. And now we are also using this normal one here, also overclocked, so also 300. So 300 in the first pipe, to 300 in the second pipe, it goes into this fluid buffer here and then goes straight into these, I think it's 5, yes, 5 refineries to take 60 each, right? 60 times 5, 300, and this is going to create fuel and polymer resin. Now, if you were paying attention in the previous episode, you know that this is not the best way to make fuel. The best way would be to first transform it into heavy oil with an alternate recipe, then to package it into diluted fuel into another alternate recipe. But we're gonna use this one for simplicity. We create 40 of fuel and we create a bit more of polymer resin. This is why we have the polymer resin going up. It goes up. This is these elevators you can see there. And then, as I said, the polymer resin will go down into those 7 refineries, which are taking polymer resin and water. This is the normal residual, recipe. You can either choose, let me actually show you. You can either choose the residual rubber or the residual plastic. It is, both of these you get by default. It's not an alternate recipe. This one takes 40. To get 20 of rubber. This one here takes actually 60 to also get 20 of, in this case, plastic, but also 20. So this is not good, right? You prefer to take, obviously, the rubber one. The rubber one will be more powerful. We're going to use less resin to make the same output. So we're making, a lot of rubber into this line here, right? Being merged. Merge, but we're not going to keep this rubber. We're going to start recycling it. I mentioned it earlier. These are the 2 alternate recipes. So we're going to take all of this rubber we're making and we're going to recycle it with a bit of fuel into a lot more, right? Into plastic in this case. So we take this plastic. Actually, I think I may have made a mistake, right? This is 60. 60. Why is this full? That should be going out, no problem. Because wait, we're talking about 60 times 4, so that's 240. So belt Mark 3 should be fine. Okay, I'm not sure why some of them. Okay, it's probably just Mark 2, Mark 2. Yeah. Okay, now it should be fine. So yes, we're making a lot of plastic. All right. And then what we're gonna do is some of this plastic, half of it to be precise, we're going to recycle again. And this way we can start making some rubber. Right? So it's the same recipe, but inverse. We're gonna take plastic and fuel and make rubber. So we double again, right? We start basically, if you look over here, let me just show you. We start with 120 of rubber. We have 4 of these, so 30 times 4, 120. So we start with 120 of rubber. With this, we're going to make 240 of plastic. And then, in the sense, we're going to half it. There's half that's going to go this way, 120, and half that's going to go this way, 120. Then we're going to take this 120. Oh, I made only 2 there. That's why the problem. No, I made a mistake. Sorry. I made a mistake. I should have 4 of these and not instead of 2. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, it's not, it's not a major problem. It's just in here I'm making more plastic, but we're still going to make 120 of rubber. So, let's be precise. We're going to make 120 of rubber and we're going to make 180 of plastic. And actually, to be honest, this was a bit of a mistake on my part versus my plan, but it's actually an happy mistake because you need more plastic than rubber. So having 120 of rubber, 180 of plastic is actually pretty good. And then for both of these resources, I have done the same thing, 1 depot uploader, 1 storage container, so that we have some good reserves. And then lastly, the awesome sink. So first it goes into the depot uploader, same over here. Second, it goes into this big container. And then when both of these are full, it can go into the awesome sink. And then just to be precise, we're talking about 180 and 120, so 300. So this should be a belt Mark 4 actually. But all the other ones are fine with Mark 3, yes. So yeah, this is how we're starting to make obviously a lot of plastic and a lot of rubber. We have also sent it to the depot uploader, but one interesting element here is I already had another depot uploader for both the rubber and the plastic in our basic rubber and plastic factory over there, right? So it's not like when you place 2, you're going to get 400. This is still 200. It's just that now that I have 2 depot uploaders, it could be uploaded faster, right? Instead of uploading at 15 per minute, I can upload 15 per minute here and 15 per minute on the other base, so 30 per minute in total. But yeah, now with this, the good thing is that we are using a resin for something instead of just burning it into the awesome sink, and we're making a lot more plastic and rubber than before, which will be useful for sure in the future. Plus, we may want to just delete that factory also in the future. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. We have 10x energy. We have restarted all of our factory, and we are recycling the resin into some plastic and rubber by lots. So now in the next episode, I want to restart doing new things. We're going to do new things into the MAM. We want to do high-speed connector, we want to do circuit board, and much more. We want in particular also to start getting closer to finishing phase 3. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and again remember that those blueprints for my perfect turbo fuel factory line over here are available for all Patreons and YouTube members, so don't hesitate to ask for these. Thank you again, smash like button, and I hope to see you next time.